one thing's not going to change: emotions, human emotions, and talent. And that's going to be the great equalizer.
An amazing duo, Jon and Kevin from BUREAU BÉATRICE. They are the founders and co-owners of Creative Studio, which creates fantastic shows for brands such like Dior, Cartier, Richard Mille, Formula One.
Welcome, guys. We're so happy to have you here with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are the trends that inspire you, or who are the trendsetters that you guys think?
We don't care what technology we use, as long as the idea comes to life.
Everything that you see is already created and made,
100%.
right?
It's not where you take it from, it's where you take it to.
How do you make sure that experience is emotional and you don't feel the technology at all?
They need to preserve the creativity. It's on the essence on it as well. Everything starts with the idea, whatever the operation team, production team, whatever it is. The creativity cannot be touched on that one.
What's the difference between a luxury brand and a cultural brand?
How is the future looking?
I'll tell you what, I don't even know what I'm having for dinner. Wow.
Hi, Valeria.
Hi, Shad.
How are you?
Very good. Very good.
Valeria, we are in the final episode of season 3 already.
And what a season it's been.
It's been a crazy season. And you know what? Today we have an amazing duo with us to wrap this up. It is Jon and Kevin from BUREAU BÉATRICE. They are the founders and co-owners of this amazing immersive creative studio, which creates fantastic shows for brands such like Dior, Cartier, Richard Mille, Formula One, a super impressive portfolio.
Welcome, guys. We're so happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, I will just dive in right away. Building a global creative company a decade ago, one would choose cities like Paris, London, New York. What made you take this conscious decision to create a company in Dubai?
Well, Dubai is it's an experiment itself, right? It's a new city. If you go to Paris, they were amazing in the past. It's still a beautiful city. Even Shanghai, you know, it's the future is in China, but still it's a lot of constraints in there. Dubai is such a young place, and it allows to experiment as well. So for us, when we joined as well, when we partnered up together, then we really didn't know actually what it will be, and it allowed us to give us a place, to give us a scenery that we could do whatever we want actually, and that.
Yeah, and I think from a creative standpoint, whereas more established cities, London, Paris, as you just named, New York, LA, Miami, they already have a school of thought, a school of design, a school of executing. You can almost spot it a mile away if an ad has been made in New York or in Seattle by Whiten and Kennedy, right? You can see it straight away. Whereas in Dubai, it's still like a massive draft, and it has that playground where you can experiment and you can try to find your voice and not be bogged down by the way things are usually done. And I think for a creative, it's the most exciting type of proposition as a whole.
When did you guys start this whole BB journey?
Well, Kevin in September, October was starting to relocate from Belgium to Dubai. So he was going back and forth.
What year are we talking about?
2021.
2021.
I had already resigned my position in my previous agency. So we started building the brand, because that's how we see BB. We don't really see it as an agency. We fundamentally believe it is a brand. And you'll see maybe later on with some of the questions that thinking of ourselves as a brand completely shifts the way we behave, the way we respect ourselves, and the way we put ourselves out to the world. We tend to look at brands like, anyways, that's a lot, but we look at brands more than we look at agencies in the real world. So anyhow, October, we landed our first clients before having an office.
In November.
In November, that was Formula One.
Wow. I mean, it's not a bad client to land, no?
No.
It was a great account to have, because that led us a 3-year relationship with Formula One.
All around the world.
Yeah, all around the world. Pure bluff. That's how we walked in.
Walk like you own the place. Yeah.
Right. We got them in Doha during the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
We met a senior guy from a Formula One organization. We realized real fast that it was a 50 people organization. 30 of those are in the finance department.
Yeah.
So it's really a very small organization. And then they're like, hey, can you do films and everything? Because Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton are going back to back. We just finished Doha. There's Saudi, there's Abu Dhabi. And we need to hype up the community, the international broadcast. Can you just do, if we gave you all our archives, can you just do a lot of films for us over the next 3 weeks?
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, easy. And I don't even know if we had a trade license at that point.
Yeah, we had a trade license.
We had one?
Yeah.
I see. He thinks of everything. So that's how we started. It was October, but officially, I'd say Feb 2022.
Yeah, that's when we did the launch party and we put BUREAU BÉATRICE as a name out in the world.
And before that, it was just white labeling for like an entire 2.5 months.
So the Middle East has gone from being a trend follower to a trendsetter. And like, how do you guys see that process happened? Like, how did we become the trendsetters and move from there?
Well, I don't, if I may be honest, I don't know if we've truly become a trendsetter just yet. I think what is true is that creative influence has stopped shifting exclusively from the West to the East. I think today we're going from a unipolar world of creativity. And by the way, that's not new, huh? Since the Renaissance, you got that going for Europe, to a multipolar world of creativity. I think if I can twist your question a bit, just to give you an answer that makes sense, I think the Middle East has stopped asking for permission to join the conversation. I think that is the biggest shift. And that shift is witnessed across the entire spectrum. When you look at culture as the wider spectrum of culture, Louvre Abu Dhabi is the perfect evidence of how you change the conversation. You go to the Louvre or any museum for that matter in Europe and anywhere in the world, everything is categorized according to the West, right? Renaissance is not Renaissance in the Middle East. It was only the Renaissance in Italy until they got to France and then Spain, etc. It's a foreign concept, yet everyone still uses that term. You go to Louvre Abu Dhabi, this is not how they talk about art. You have the Gallery of Love, the Gallery of Money, the Gallery of Power, all concepts that are Universal, exactly. And so you can witness it there, and then you can witness it in our industry at the Cannes Lions, for example. In the past 10 years, never has this region won so many awards, so many Grand Prix, right? And we're seeing it not from one agency, but 5, 6, 7 agencies that are absolutely killing it. So I wouldn't say Dubai has become, or the UAE has become a trendsetter market, because then we fall in the same pitfall that what Europe thinks it is. I think we're smarter than that. We recognize that there's great things happening everywhere. And Dubai is a sponge. It spots something, makes it its own, and gives it to the world. And if I can use an analogy, and then I'll be done talking on that. Think of Europe more as of a composer, right? They do original partitions. Dubai is more of a DJ, right? They're going to be like, that part there is really cool. And then they're going to look at China and be like, that part there is really cool. Let me take that and then let me do my own thing with that. And I think if you want to differentiate UAE and the Middle East as a whole, think of them as DJs, taking everywhere they can and doing something absolutely unique with it. Whereas in Europe, you're going to have absolutely original compositions. Both are great models, right? But there's nothing bad being David Guetta or being Mozart.
That's very interesting analogy. Who are trendsetters in your opinion these days? Looking at the world that is completely technology driven, AI driven, and I think that we've become so globalized these days. What are the trends that inspire you, or who are the trendsetters that you guys think?
Well, I mean, logically to each their own, right? He likes beef bourguignon, I like sushi, to each their own. But on a more serious note, we built BUREAU BÉATRICE because we identified a gap in the world of live experiences, right? We found that live experiences were fed by other live experiences. We thought that maybe bringing in a more cinematic approach, a more theatrical approach, a more musically led / culturally led approach to the table would help us. So for BB, it's mainly cinema that inspires us. Music inspires us a lot. Magazines inspire us a great deal, which is odd for a creative tech company. I think our walls are stacked with magazines. So yeah, we like to look at everything that's happening outside of our industry, I think.
You've
Not one name.
mentioned earlier that boredom is your biggest motivator. Actually, that was, I think,
I told you that. Yeah, when
that
we were
was
having a
that was
cigarette.
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
This is how your company actually
Oh.
like,
Boredom
I
is
wouldn't say functioning, but you
actually
know,
driver.
Yeah, it's a
the-
driver. Yeah,
the
yeah.
driver, yeah.
It's a massive driver for us.
Like for us, we don't want any retainer contracts, and that's very odd for an agency that we really are aversive on it. Like we don't want to sign a contract. I need to do X amount of work every month. We don't want that because it kills creativity. Like we choose our projects we want to work on. Like we,
As much as the clients choose us.
as much as the clients choose us, indeed. But when you have a retainer contract, you get bored on it on the account, and you see the work going down very, very, very quickly.
So how do you keep on going this creativity? If you have the client who's been with you, like you said, Formula One for what, 3 years, and I'm sure you have other clients that been with you for an amount of years. How do you keep this creativity floating and making sure that every time you deliver something better and better and better?
Well, it's a loaded question in the sense that, is there an actual secret formula? We don't really know. I think it's a mixture of like boredom or being adverse to boredom, ego. Can you do better than what you did last time? I think we have big egos in the company, not in the traditional sense. People that actually are extremely proud of their work. I think we never police anyone. We never do any of that stuff in the company. So I think boredom and egos together are the best combination to fight that off. But to Kevin's point, the reason we don't do retainers is not because we're too good for retainers. It's not about that. We would be doing a disservice to our business and to our clients' business. Simple as that. And also, it keeps us hungry.
It keeps us hungry. Yeah, it keeps us fighting. Yeah.
It's a very interesting way of actually seeing it, because another agency would think that if we have a retainer,
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
it's a long-term thought process. It's a security for the agency.
Mostly security, I think, and
the brand.
Yeah, it's very good for your P&L. Let's say you're what you're gonna have in a year, and you can plan for that one. But that's also a thing actually that makes us hungry, because we don't know.
Yeah.
Like for us now in Q4, we have no idea what's gonna happen, but we are very confident and certain that some things will happen. Like some amazing things will happen.
I think that's a very good position that you guys have put yourself in, that you would be able to choose your own clients, right?
Yes, but saying it this way makes us look really cocky and arrogant, which I tend to be. But I'd rather not with this microphone on. No, listen, if I can put it in more simple terms, we avoid going to bars where we know the boys don't look good if we're the pretty girl in town. So we don't want to put people in a situation where we need to be like, yeah, it's not really for us.
Okay.
And also, I think the clients we do collaborate with have been perhaps even smarter than us, because I think they've understood who we are as a company before we even truly knew who we were as a company. So they tend to come to us for that special moment in the year. They don't come to us for like a flat billboard on Sheikh Zayed, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. You need those. But they'll come to us when they want something that's different. So in that sense, like Cartier, we work with them 3 times a year. Seems like a lot, but they do 500 things a year. But the 3 things we do work on are absolutely exceptional. So I think it's a combination of the clients understanding who we are and us knowing what we don't want.
There is I think in one of your interviews, you guys mentioned that creativity without technology wouldn't be possible. What role technology plays actually in your projects? Because they're most of your experience are immersive. And as you mentioned before as well, that the guest, the person has to be part of the entire experience. What is the role of technology in this whole process?
The same role your RAM has on your iPhone. You need it, but you don't need to see it. And I think this is as simple as that. I think we're the least technologic company that qualifies itself as a creative technology company somehow.
But the creative.
Yeah, I think with the creative, it changes everything. We never start a brief with a piece of technology. It's just banned in the company. No one starts up like, oh, why don't we use VR and then try to do something with that? No. How about we come up with an idea? How about it's impactful? How about we think of the person who's in the room and the way they need to interact with whatever we're designing. And then you know what? Kevin has a team of really qualified people, and they'll tell us what eventually we need to know, what technology we're using. I think that is the most healthy way to go about creative technology, is having a bunch of people who know nothing about it, come up with crazy ideas, and then have a bunch of people who know everything about it, make that idea come to life.
And that's very important actually, because the team itself and the technologists, they need to preserve the creativity. It's on the essence on it as well. Everything starts with the idea, whatever the operation team, production team, whatever it is, service delivers. It needs to, the creativity cannot be touched on that one. And actually, all the creators with us, nobody has a technology background, which is a good thing in that sense, because they can think freely on whatever is possible, and then, like Jon was saying, just look at us to see like it's possible or not. And
Would there ever be a clash? Like, I will give you an example. For example, in architecture, if we come up with an idea of design, for example, and then we go and present it to a contractor, and the contractor says, "You guys out of your mind, it's not possible." For us as creators, everything is possible.
Yeah. So,
But how is it in your field?
so first of all, it depends when that is not possible comes to life. When that sentence is said, right? If that sentence is worded physically 5 minutes after the brief is out, well, you better run, my friend, because you didn't think hard enough. If after a week of research and development, it is actually not possible, cool, but then what is? And that is the most important thing. Like, it's not possible just doesn't quite fit the ethos of the company. Find a fucking solution.
Yeah.
Right? If I need a trash can to pretend like it's flying through the thing, and you thought you were going to do it with something else, then guess what, buddy? You're getting a fishing pole with a fucking string, you're going to attach it to it, and you're going to be getting it up. Find a solution. We're not married to a piece of technology, and that's something Kevin really instilled into the company very early on. Ironically, he came from VR, and he was really much anchored into VR. We don't care what technology we use, as long as the idea comes to life.
Is there an experience or something that you guys can tell us about that was that you had in mind and that was not?
No, we did crazy things, huh?
The Wayfinder.
Oh, the Wayfinder, you have fire.
So, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, you can.
I do, or you do?
You can do, and I will tap in. You can tap on the idea, and I will tap in what's not possible. Then
it was actually not possible. But you're sure they paid us right at the end?
Yeah, they paid us. Yeah.
A special client who shall not mention.
No.
I don't know why. I go through those phases where sometimes I think something is really, really cool. And despite everything I just told you, I go against my better instincts and I try to plug it in somehow as a, what if we had that also on top of everything? And that thing was a Wayfinder. I thought it'd be really cool to be able to create a AR digital mascot. And let's say you go into a mall and then it will take you to your favorite place and you guide you and everything. But that was just physically not possible or technologically not possible. But I did that not in one deck or two or three or five. I think I did that like 10 decks. And then
every time I was squeezing.
For a couple months last year, I started again. It just came back and I started doing Wayfinders again. And I looked at it, was it still not possible? It was like, it's still not possible. Well, it is possible. It really costs like $25 million to do it.
It's too expensive. Yeah.
Are you? Okay. Are you sure?
The way I wanted to implement it. I'm not giving you my secret sauce because in October, I'm coming right back at it with my Wayfinder.
Why do so many technology-driven experiences feel really impressive but emotionally empty? And that happens very often because there are so many experiences right now, even when you go to the big exhibitions or when there is events, but not every single one of them touches you, right? But there are certain ones that you're like, oh, that was something absolutely impressive. I can't forget it. And it stays with you. What differentiates from one to another?
What I think is they asked the wrong question in the beginning. I think they were not thinking about their audience. They were just thinking, oh, this is a very cool piece of tech. Let's implement it in there. And we're talking it before. I will use it. The cocktail maker with a robotic arm that makes you a cocktail, or on Jitex, you have so many cappuccino makers, robots that make you a cappuccino, but it doesn't do much, like even though people are taking pictures of it, but you just move on with your life on that one. And I think what's different, what we do as well, is that the questions asked differently with the team of Jon and the strategists are starting on a brief. The questions asked differently. Who is the audience and that we're doing it for?
And how do we want to make them feel? I think that's the most important part. A lot of technology is used today for technology's sake. I think that's important to recognize. I think we've fallen in that trap a couple times because it's the newest, hottest thing, and then turns out, yeah, we're just the happy ones that used it, and maybe it goes into credentials one day, maybe it doesn't. I think it's easy to fall into the trap of technology for technology's sake. I think that's plain
How do you
answer.
make it seamless as well? How do you make sure that experience is emotional and you don't feel the technology at all?
Technologists, the people itself.
Great technologists, for one, who know what
Because you
they're
mentioned earlier to me this example of Vercheron, right?
Yeah,
That was a perfect example of
Yeah.
something that was very much technology driven, but at the same time, it definitely touched the every visitor who was there at that time.
So it was technology powered, but it was storytelling driven. See, I think that's the slight nuance. And I'm not just saying that to sound smart or anything like it. The way we approach that brief, it's a brand that's 275 years old, right? Or 270.
270.
270 years old. So it's not exactly your target audience in terms of brand. Like, you're not going to come and sway them with technology for the sake of technology. It's because we've understood who was going to go in the room and the way they wanted their information. They were adamant. They wanted people to understand everything about their history, everything about how a watch was made 200 years ago, everything about what a grande complication is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This you're not going to get in 15 minutes of someone walking through one room, second, third. So how do we make it interactive and at least give them to walk away with something from each room and show them something different? So it was something as simple as they had this massive, beautiful book that traced all their history. So we could have had that, or we could have come up with what we came up with, which is the same size book, but we had a projector on the ceiling. You turn right to left, everything was in English. You turn left to right, everything became in Arabic. So already an understanding that our local audience would probably be turning left to right. And then you touch a picture, it blossoms and it shows you more stuff. And it's almost like going from one window to the next. And then you turn a page, something else happens. So you might not go through every pages, but at least you're walking away with a little piece of the history of the maison. Grande Complication is a room that talks about high complications in watchmaking. The definition of that room is that it is complicated by default. You're not going to learn anything about grand complications in 5 minutes. We gamified it. So we took their mascot and we got people to assemble complications, and they understood what each complication was doing. So they were spending like 10, 15 minutes playing those games. And we're talking about, again, a 270-year-old brand. And then finally, the last room, it was a beautiful, gorgeous design room. So they knew how they wanted their rooms to look. Our job was really to come in and implement some interactive technologies. Well, it became that once we won the pitch, because we were adamant that you needed that to get people hooked in. And the last room, it was actually one of my favorite things we've ever done. So you had this incredibly beautiful looking watch, a one of one. It was a astronomical grand complication. So you can see the celestial map on your watch and everything. And when you walked in, you had a cloudy night. All you needed to do is enter a date, any date that's meaningful to you, a city, and then press go. And then you see a shooting star go from the screen and then transfer as a mapping, goes right above you on the dome of the ceiling, explodes, and recreates a celestial map of that night in that city.
Place,
And we had people who were walking out with tears in their eyes. They were receiving their celestial map. And so that's something we developed with NASA, for example. We needed 100 years of celestial map in every city in the world. So how do you make that happen live seamlessly? Well, you work for weeks on end and you develop. And we had a lab.
Yeah.
We grew too much. We don't have a lab anymore. But we kept on developing until there was about a 2-second gap between the moment you press go and then the experience starts. And it was really, truly your experience. Because although 15,000 people might have walked through that room, well, guess what? My memory is definitely different to his memory, to your memory, and to your memory. And I think that's how you make it human. And that's how also it's just by keeping on perfecting the engine and making it work till you get it right. And it's not complex technologies we're bringing forward, by the way.
That's important, actually. We don't use the latest, you know what I mean? Like the latest hologram in the sky, whatever it is, because it's not tested properly enough. And it breaks the spell of, let's say, the technology needs to disappear in favor for emotions. What we always say, if the technology breaks, the spell is gone, you know, like you see the technology. So we use proven technologies, but just use them very, very differently. So it's a very important aspect on it as well.
Guys, that sounds in a way so original, and it's, in my opinion, maybe a little bit rare to see something very original. when was the last time you guys saw something truly originally crafted? And is it really possible to create something original nowadays?
I think there's nothing original since the first caveman who drew a buffalo in a cave somewhere in Asia. Like, there's nothing original. I think true originality is authenticity. That's being original today. I tell my teams, steal from everywhere. If you find something good,
From everywhere.
steal from everywhere.
Yeah.
Steal from everywhere that resonates with you. Just make it better and make it real.
It was
That's-
a quote on our wall. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you, but it was a quote on our wall in the beginning.
Nothing is
Yeah.
original. Steal from everywhere that resonates with your heart. That's exactly what we try to do.
In the end of the day, it's the same in the design industry, that everything that you see is already created and made,
100%.
right? And sometimes you see someone trying to, take the what do you call it? The opportunity to say that this was my idea. However, it's very difficult to find something very, very original, right?
It's not where you take it from, it's where you take it to. And I think if you take something from someone and you're just changing the color, then you're just stealing. If you take something from someone and you're taking it to a whole different space, good or bad, doesn't matter, but to a different space, a space that resonates with what you're feeling, what you want to express,
Yeah.
then there's no shame in that. Originality is authenticity. That is what I say.
We had a great experience, and I will never forget it. And that was a Salone di Mobile 2 years ago. We went Google.
Yeah,
That was a great show.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw it or if you heard about it. It was just a great show that was, it was immersive and working with colors and smells and all of our sense, and it was just so
Again,
fit on Google.
yeah, again, bringing on working with your emotions, and then just bringing everything, all your senses, making all your senses to work. And that is work with color, with your sound, with your smell,
Taste.
with light, taste.
Yeah.
And well, speaking about events, luxury companies these days, they spend millions on something that lasts very short time, right? Including this kind of events that maybe will be there for a week and then disappear. We'll see clearly that the value is changing. Why do you think it's happening that we're just doing something for that one momentum?
I don't think it's a luxury problem. I think it's a cross-category problem, right? Because luxury is not the only one that does events or experiences.
The
And-
short term.
Yeah, no, they're not the only ones. That would be unfair to say that, I think. There's two ways to approaching it, and then I'll let Kevin give his take on it. See, when we get ready to think about an experience, there's always a two-phase approach. First phase is what we've been discussing quite in a length now. It's a person who's in the room, right? How do they need to feel? How do they need to interact? That's the first half. And I feel like a lot of agencies do that really, really well, but that's only half of the job. We design for everyone who's not in the room, right? So in the design language we apply, and the different organic opportunities for that event to travel the world through whether design or an interactive experience or through a show or through a light sequencing that might be absolutely unique. And that's the second part of the job that makes all the difference. Think about the person in the room, design for it, and then forget it. And then think about everyone else who won't be in the room and try to think about what could grab their attention without compromising the first. If you do those two, then there's no reason why it wouldn't travel do well. But again, I don't think it's a luxury issue. I think you find it a lot in beauty, perhaps even more so in beauty. Not with Huda Beauty, but the numbers talk for themselves. But you see it a lot in beauty. You see it a lot in cars. I think if anything, luxury does a better job at it because they're so desirable, right? And there's that FOMO that happens, right, with people that are not VICs for Cartier or for Bulgari. So I guess they have a bit of a cheat code because everyone is drawn to them by default. I'd say this is a bigger issue in other industries. But yeah, they could always do a better job at thinking of the people that are out of the room.
The fact that they do it, it means it works, right? It's that it shifted for them. It means it works. And I think now as well, very much is driven on what Jon was just saying as well. Very much is driven on what's happened after the event as well. So the more you spend on the event itself or on the experience or whatever it is, can it live longer than what had happened just in that moment? And the more wow you make it, that is mostly connected with more money putting next to it, the more wow we can make it, the more it lives longer afterwards.
What's the difference between a luxury brand and a culture brand?
It's so for you.
You're making it sound like two things cannot be right at the same time.
Maybe it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. What's the difference between a normal brand and a cultural brand, or a luxury brand and a cultural brand? I think it's two sides of the same coin. In the context of luxury, I think luxury is what drives desirability, and I think culture is what drives relevancy. Now, luxury brands can be both at the same time. Can they always be both at the same time? I think it's hard, right? If we take a step back and look 5-6 years ago, Alessandro Michele with Gucci was a luxury brand, and it was a culture brand at the same time. I mean, there was no one more relevant than him in fashion, right? Is Gucci relevant today? I don't think so. So I think there's moments in time for a brand to be culturally relevant. I think the more interesting way to look at it is a luxury brand culturally relevant intentionally, or is it culturally relevant by sitting on the sidelines and just sponsoring the hell out of F1, for example? We see you, Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? I think being cultured with intention is what matters most. And those are the brands that will be winning. Oh my God, I just said will be winning. That sounds so marketing. Join my podcast and I'll show you how to make passive income. Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
Tell us about one of your most, in your opinion, most interesting works that you've done with a luxury or a cultural brand.
Huda Beauty. I think Huda Beauty is a perfect example of that. Like it, you like it. If you like it, you love it. If you hate it, you hate it with passion. Luckily for the brand, a little minority are not necessarily switched on to it. But every meeting at Huda Beauty, it starts with the culture. What's happening in the culture, right? I think that's the most important thing. And we don't have a single other client that talks about the culture for different demographics, different generations and whatnot. It is so important. And it's at the core of everything they do. I mean, you see it on the numbers themselves and the enthusiasm people have. Every launch that she does keeps on beating number for number the one that happened just before. And that's because she is so relevant. She's so switched on. It's her voice. It's her brand. It is called Huda Beauty. I guess people got the hint. And for her, and I speak on her behalf, which I shouldn't actually, no. But I never describe her as a beauty brand. I describe her as a culture brand because she is in the business of culture, right? Not in the business of beauty. Beauty is just a vehicle to sell a product. She's passionate about beauty, of course, but I think she is so relevant. I mean, you have plenty of other brands that have founders in the beauty industry, not going to name them, but they're not half as relevant to different demographics. I mean, Huda has been around for almost 15 years now. To stay relevant for 15 years, that means you must be doing something right. You must be listening.
She's also a very, very sharp businesswoman. She knows exactly the route that she wants to go and
Yeah, but I think those are two different things. Again, I can't speak on her behalf, but those are two different things. I think we need to be able to differentiate the sharp business mind, which she clearly has. She has an instinct like I've rarely seen, and the authenticity that comes from truly wanting to listen to the culture and trying to, I'm not saying she's like popping her head to whatever's trending on TikTok, but if she is, good for her. But the culture is at the heart of everything she wants to do.
Recently, you've been acquired by the Independence Group, which I think was a big step for you as a company as well. Having said that, do you believe that the future belongs to creative collective as collectives or as a independent studios? Because we see a merge of both happening. But what do you think it will be in the future?
I think that's a very personal decision. I think for us, I think we believe we're stronger in a collective. We'll tell a bit more on that one. But as an independent agency, you have a luxury as well, right? You can choose whatever you want to work on. You can spend energy and time on certain things that within a bigger group doesn't necessarily fit. For us, we made a deliberate choice of choosing for the independence. It's an international known with some of the best companies in the world that are part of that group.
The best.
The best, voilà, the best. It gives a quality stamp for us. For us, it was not necessarily to have the clients because we already had a nice client roster before, but it gives us access to certain conversations, certain places. The Shanghai office, for instance, it accelerated actually with them to be access in China. So for us, I really believe in that collective of independent agencies that are working together in a closer way. But there's a saying as well for being an independent agency, and you don't see yourself growing that quickly because it's very, very hard to grow quickly on your own. We saw that in the very short amount of time that we existed. It's a very hard thing, you know, like to grow that fast. To keep that growth going, it's extremely, extremely hard. So at a certain point, you get the fatigue of it as well. So
Yeah, I mean, and from a creative standpoint, what better company to be in? I think, obviously, we're completely aligned on our choice with the independence. It is, in our opinion, at least in mine, 100. I'll speak for myself. But the highest group of talents in the world when it comes to luxury, and not just events, because we're talking data capture, we're talking PR, we're talking design, branding, advertising, etc. So full 360, and it is it's a blessing to be in a group like that because it makes us grow. You know, we were nowhere 5 years ago. We didn't exist. And now we're rubbing shoulders with people that we looked up to and we're like, oh, damn, that's a really good piece of work. Now we get to be in the kitchen with them, right? And we get to learn from what they're doing. When I say learn, I mean, it could be access to their network, you know? Oh, by the way, you're doing this type of event. You need to work with that company because they're going to really help you out on that. And that's really refreshing for us, and it keeps us on our toes because then we need to prove every day as well that we deserve to be at the same table. And I think that's really important for our creatives as well.
You guys work between 3 major cities, Dubai, Paris, Shanghai. I would say that maybe they have 3 completely different cultural codes, right? How is it, you know, working in between these 3 cities? And do we see the future in any of them?
Well, I can say, Kevin, he's bipolar, so for him it's much easier than for me.
He's a Gemini. He's a Gemini. He's a Gemini. He's not bipolar.
dude, you're bipolar. I'm not.
Oh, sorry. I'm bipolar, so for me it's super easy. I can do Paris and Shanghai like that. All I need to do is change my mind. No, go ahead.
That's fine. I really think for us being in Dubai, like we said in the beginning, you had kind of a blank slate to start from. You know, like in Paris, you had a long history of the country and the scenery, Europe, whatever it is. But
You want to laugh?
yeah, I want to laugh. Yeah, China as well. You know, like they have a lot of restrictions. On paper, it's still a communist country. You know what I mean? So there's still restrictions on whatever you do. It needs to be approved by the BUREAU, the Communist Party. Everything you want to do there, it needs to be approved. In here, you have that freedom to do. And I like my golden visa as well, so I like to keep it. So Dubai is a great city to work from.
I have my tax-free T-shirt. Oh. I agree with everything he just said.
Is there any of the cities that you guys like to work in more or feel like?
Yeah. Dubai.
That was a hint for the glow.
It's Dubai for sure. Listen, Dubai, on a practical level, we're 7 hours away from either market, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely.
We have our heads turned towards the east and the west equally, and I think that's also something that's super important. Like, we're privy to stuff that's happening. We see stuff on our Instagram that's happening in China that our colleagues in France don't see because, you know, algorithms work in mysterious ways. So I think being in Dubai is the perfect, it's the perfect hub for us because it's, as we said at the very beginning of the podcast, it's the blueprint is still being written, and maybe if we're good enough in a couple of years, we'll be part of the fabric of what that blueprint can manifest into.
Speaking of algorithm and how everything is now AI generated, you know, especially in our profession, you know, everything, the images, the ideas. Do you feel that with the fact that everything is done through AI these days, you know, ChatGPT and even any kind of experience can be seen through, like you said, VR glasses and everything. the taste makes or becomes more valuable?
A taste has always been valuable. Taste is the only difference between one guy and the next, right? I think taste has always been valuable and it will always be valuable. We were just talking about it today.
Yeah.
When we launched, like everyone was talking about the metaverse. Where is it now, right? AI is not going anywhere. Don't get me wrong. Technology evolves. Production becomes cheaper and more accessible. One thing's not going to change: emotions, human emotions, and talent. And that's going to be the great equalizer. So, sure, AI, go ahead, but you have shit taste, right?
We spoke about that in another podcast actually, where we talked about the design field, and we said how AI is integrated into hospitality environment, for example. But in the end of the day, that something that you cannot change is the human interaction that you have with one-on-one, you know, and also how you interact as a guest with the nature, for example. That's stuff that would never be able to be exchanged. What do you guys think within your business? What do you guys think that people will long for in a decade from now? How is the trends looking?
How is the future looking?
I'll tell you what, I don't even know what I'm having for dinner in 2 hours. So listen, we're not in the business of forecasting anything. We're in the business of capturing the moments. I think that's really important for us. I personally don't really care what's going to be important in 10 years. What I care about is what's important to the people I'm catering to tomorrow morning. I truly believe in that. In 10 years, that'll be my problem in 10 years. For now, anyone who comes with a solution, I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg called his company Meta. 6 months after, no one was talking about Meta.
But after COVID, what everybody wanted to do, they wanted to go back with people on the restaurants, they wanted to go to festivals, they wanted to go to concerts. So if you go back to that one, same as John, I'm not forecasting anything, but it goes back to the human, you know, like you want human interactions. This would have been a Zoom call. It would have been very boring, you know, like it's you don't see each other, you don't feel each other as well. So we're all in calls so much. So I think within the future as well, people will always crave to human interaction. That's
But if we talk about BB, for example, now, like how many more cities are you guys expanding to?
also no forecast on that one.
No?
We don't sit still, but I think we have good hubs now. I would say like
Do you want, like, do you have any hopes to one
Upscale?
Numbers for numbers.
No.
It's never a game we've tried to play. You know, we've started BB and we're like, you know, in 3 years we'll have 10 to 12.
no, I made a
14.
promise to you.
Yeah, we'll never go
Above 15 people, you know,
people.
like it's.
But don't worry, we won't be 15 before at least 3 years. 3 years in, we have 45 people. So
we moved 4 times offices in Dubai. You know, like it's. That's-
China is, we're barely scratching the surface. I know we're getting so many awards now in China. So that's promising. It means, you know, the market is responsive to what we're trying to do there, but it's massive.
No.
It's truly massive. And it's not, I don't think it's not the amount of cities, it's the right city, right? We were watching actually a podcast the other day on this old CEO of HP. She's like, we're present in 130 countries, but we make 80% of our money in 30% of them.
No.
So she's like, we're privileged to be in those 30% cities that do all the business, and the rest, they're there for footprint purposes. So I guess if it's good enough for them to say that, then I guess it's good enough for us to say that. It'll have to be opportunity driven. And today, I mean,
And to be honest, like Jon S says, like we worked in so many different markets already, all from Dubai. You have, I don't
16.
know, 140 direct flights, all from Dubai. So why do we need an office, let's say, in the US, which is to have an office there? You know, it's very complex. Everybody that we know in there, it is struggling. You know, like to find the talents, to go with the culture in there, to find to make a decent margin in there. So no ambition in there. You know, to we need to have an office in New York. No, if it comes through an opportunity, then that we need to be there, and then that we do it. You know, it's.
Am I allowed to ask if there is a specific brand that you wish would like to work with?
No, go ahead to do.
no, please.
Okay, well, one each.
Go first.
No, for me, it's also there as well. It's the opportunity. What can we do for the brand as well? I thinking as well. I'm a car fanatic, like, and that's I love cars. So I love to do something for a special car brand, like a Koenigsegg or what that?
Renault?
Actually, Renault is doing a very. Actually, Renault now these days are actually doing quite a good job on the
Pride of
design
France.
things. Like
Koenigsegg.
Koenigsegg, yeah, it's
great.
beautiful.
I can't
but
imagine their marketing budget.
but
They
the
sell
marketing
one-
budget is close to zero because their cars are always sold out. But
What do they sell?
do
like
something-
one a year?
what?
They sell.
No,
like
no,
one a
no,
year?
no.
Like
30 or
two?
40. No, more.
How much?
I don't know. I think 30 or so. I need to check.
The
But
fact that you can say 30 is alarming.
why?
Because there's no budget there. That's for sure.
I don't know. There's definitely no budget. No, for sure. There's definitely no budget at Koenigsegg. But something for a special car brand, Rolls Royce, Bentley, whatever. But even though they don't have money anymore.
What about you, John?
Oh, Nike.
Nike?
Yeah. But like Nike in Asia.
Nike Asia.
It's massive.
Yeah, Nike in Asia for something like Nike Lab or something like that. 100%. They're the best of both worlds. Luxury, tech, of all the worlds. It's amazing. It's performances and...
I would go for the car though. Yeah, definitely. But
well, someone's retiring sooner than the other.
in the end of each episode, we have a question from our previous guest. The question from our previous guest was, as technology increasingly shapes the way we live and travel, what aspect of the human experience do you believe should remain fundamentally analog?
No, go ahead. We had a great
Well, I
answer.
think there's the answer.
Yeah.
It's human. Like
It's human.
Like, yeah, listen.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's human. Emirates can have the best online and booking experience, which I tend to believe they
It's
do,
amazing.
right? I'm never trying to book a flight with Air France on an app. That's never happening. I don't care doing it with Emirates, but on Air France,
How do you do it with Air France?
I don't. That's the whole point. I stick to what I like. Emirates. And
I actually thought you were going to say Emirates. One of you guys would say Emirates on my previous question.
no. It's fine. We rather not mix business and pleasure.
Okay.
We use them a lot, and that's why it's better.
If we fuck up one of their campaigns, we're straight back
Yeah.
to the coach.
Okay.
No, he likes his platinum status.
I like my platinum set. It's nice. Yeah.
Right. So no matter how good and seamless a technological or a digital experience can be, where's your first smiling happening when you land and you arrive at the hotel and someone who's greeting you at the hotel knows your name and knows that you really like white chocolate, and when you enter in your room, that white chocolate is there on your room. That's your first moment you're going to smile. So analog human interactivity always first.
I love that. What about you, Kim?
Same. No. It's, we were discussing today. It's like as a human, it's
Yeah, he vetted
back
all
to
the
core.
answers that I had.
Guys,
Sure.
guys, yin and yang. But this was the perfect ending of season 3
What would be your question for our next guest?
in season 4.
Season
Actually,
4.
Starry on season
What a
So we're
cliff-
sending your question to season 4.
Oh my God, what a cliffhanger. I don't know if Viking can hold up to the whole theory now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a quite simple one, and it's not ChatGPT. Then there's probably a few grammar and typos in what I'm about to say. What is one thing you fundamentally disagree, did not believe in 10 years ago, that you absolutely fundamentally believe in today?
You know what? If the guest is what I think the guest would be, that's an incredible question.
But that's what I thought as well.
And it's not ChatGPT. Well, thank
And
you.
it's not ChatGPT.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, it's clearly shows stuff. What you do is just, you're meant to do that. And thank you so much for such a fun discussion today. Really, there's a lot of insights. I'm sure there will be a lot of more creatives knocking on your door.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Hopefully, Koenigsegg or Nike. You know, we look forward.
He's a rational person. He'll pick Nike at the end.
Yeah, for sure. We'll pick Nike in the end.
Take
Yeah.
both.
But
Take both.
I know he wanted to say Nike. That's why I didn't want to kill his thing.
Okay. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.